Are these statements familiar? Your word is your bond. A man is only as good as his word. You have my word on it. I promise. Our words have weight. What we say has impact. The question is, can people trust what we say? Welcome to the Word for 2021. Today we're in Numbers chapter 30. Balaam was a prophet, and God inspired him to say this about himself. In Numbers chapter 23, verse 19, Balaam said about God, God is not a man that he should lie, nor the Son of Man that he should change his mind. Does he speak and then not act? Does he promise and not fulfill? God keeps his promises. God keeps his word. What God says, he always fulfills. God is trustworthy, and his words are always true. And as God's people, we too should be known as people that are trustworthy, that are reliable. We're faithful in our words. We are promise keepers. In chapter 30, verse 2, we read, When a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by a pledge, he must not break his word, but must do everything that he said. Jesus spoke something very similar when he said this on the Sermon on the Mount. You'll find this in Matthew chapter 5, verses 33 through 37. Jesus was speaking and he said, You have heard it has been said to the people long ago, Do not break your oaths, but keep the oath that you have made to the Lord. And then he said, Simply let your yes be yes and your no, no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. The world considers truth optional. The means justify the ends. Lying really doesn't matter as long as you get what you want. In our world today, deception permeates every part of society. Why? Because the prince of this world is the father of lies. And since he is the father of lies, Satan will tempt you to live a life of a lie by projecting someone that you're really not, by projecting a false image of yourself. The truth is, you cannot be two different people. You can't be one person in private and someone else in public. Jesus, he condemned this as hypocrisy. Satan will also tempt us to conceal the truth when we sin. The truth, though, is that if we confess our sin, that God is faithful and just to forgive us of our sin and purify us from all unrighteousness. Therefore, the truth will set us free. When it comes to our words, what we say is actually a reflection of our hearts. In Matthew chapter 12, verse 34, Jesus said, Out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. That means that if your heart is filled with deception, then you will speak falsehood. So therefore, if we don't want that to happen, we need to make sure that we're letting the Spirit fill us and that the truth of God is directing our thinking. That way, when we speak, our words will be faithful. God said, Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Be truthful. May we, as God's people, be promise keepers. Thank you for joining the Word for 2021.